Hey, what's going on? You're tapped into another creator's interview. I'm Teel, the host, and I got another great guest, Chase Livingston. What's going on, man?
Man, let me first off, just go ahead and put this out there. I got to give you your flowers, bro. Your space is incredible. I've been seeing you do your thing online, man. You're having some awesome people on. You're doing you're juggling multiple different projects, and we're not even talking about your full-time job. Bro, I see you getting it, and I applaud you right out of the gate. So thanks for having me on.
Oh man, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the love, man.
Yeah.
So you know I'm paid in full.
Yeah.
It's all good. What have you been up to, man?
Man, where to even begin? So, I guess my latest biggest project, and I hope this is on your list, but so me and my wife, we started this nonprofit. It's called High Powered. And so the whole idea behind High Powered is we want to help the community, but individuals as well, grow to become all they can be, right? In all areas of life, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. We want you to become this high-powered version of yourself, right? So we have been working on what's called a faith run. So
I got the faith run on there.
I know you're a runner, maybe not by choice, but you just sign up for these things and then just go for it, which is insane to me.
Shout out to Farmers Bank and Trust. They signed me up for a lot of races. I ran 6 of them for Farmers. My wife works there. And no one at the bank wants to run. So they'll always be like, Joe, come run for it.
Go do it.
The first time I ran the half marathon, I didn't train. I just showed up that morning. And I ran under 2 hours.
What? That is insane.
I just get that crackhead energy flowing through me, bro. At mile 6.
Get some Red Bull and go.
Come on, man. We can do it.
So anyways, but that's what we've been working on. So we've got a race coming up. It's a 5K and a 10K. It's on the Bringle Lake Trail. So it's the first ever trail run that I know of here in town. There may have been one, but it's the first one that I know of. And man, it's going to be awesome. So it's kind of a faith-based event. So that, we're going to be doing some coprayer and worship beforehand, get you all filled with the Spirit. Then you go run the trails, and it's just a cool, unique thing to do. And it also is of course, putting it up for Jesus and showing him some love in the process. So that's kind of what that is.
Y'all starting on the east side or the west? So you're starting by the playgrounds over there? Yeah.
Yep. So you start there, and then the 5K is super simple, right? You run all the way down to the dam and back.
So the dam is the best place ever for me. And it's been by myself almost every time. I brought some friends every once in a while, but it takes me about 1 hour and 35 minutes normally to walk it, fast. And then I did it one time under an hour. I was moving. But going all the way around, then running on the concrete back past the west, and then coming all the way back to the east side, right where you started?
Yes. That's the 10K.
I've done that. Yeah. Multiple times.
Yeah, me too. And so that's why I was like, why has nobody done this? The trail map is here. It's there's a 5K, there's a 10K. It's mapped out for you. Most people are you're not even a runner, but you still are aware of the
I love
the
map,
that
whole trail is so nice because it's nothing I get 4 or 5 miles into it. Or really 3 or 4 once I get past the dam and I get on that other side. There's no my car is 3 miles back. Once you get to the halfway point, it's I might as well keep going around. And that's I don't know. But I can really get some good thoughts in, and then just solo running miles and miles. I do like that. Or even just walking.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody about this earlier today, is the almost therapeutic. Most people who are listening to this who don't run are therapeutic. What are you talking about?
No, running is therapy.
Yeah, once you you really get in that stride, and the first couple of times you run, you don't get there, right? You're just this is awful. But once you really build up some endurance, yes, man, it's you say, you might get some awesome, creative ideas. This podcast may have came from one of your wild runs or something like that, And so, it's time for me. I'll go and run and just kind of listen in and come up with ideas or just process what I'm going through in life. Or, sometimes I'll put on a podcast or something. It's that's my learning time.
Yeah, that's how I learn all the time. In fact, if anybody's listened to me and they listen to me a lot, they've heard me say this a million times. Music has worn me out. Yeah, I'm tired of music. I don't like music a lot of times. I listen to a little bit of music, but it's podcasts, it's audiobooks, it's and then when I run, when I work out, all that stuff. It's never music no more. I don't know. Yeah. They burn me out on music.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same, really. I don't listen to a whole lot of music, which my full-time job as a personal trainer is we have music going in the gym all day long, right? But somebody said to me, I was like in this position where, I wanted to build a business and I wanted to like go to work for myself and I wanted to do all these things. And I was still like listening to a bunch of music and they were like, well, you got to quit listening to that. Like your car has to become like your library. Like when you're in the car, whether you're going just down the road or you're going on a long road trip, that's education time. Like there are audio tapes that will teach you how to build a business. There are audio tapes who will teach you like character development. There's like everything that you want to learn. You can go listen to that and learn how to do it. Like, why are you wasting time? There's no excuse
anymore to not know stuff.
Yeah.
Like now that with information the way it is now, there's no excuse to not know about stuff.
And YouTube is so crazy. Like you can
YouTube
go watch
University. That's what
endless hours of content and just like, it's free.
Yeah.
You skip the ad every 20 minutes or whatever it is, I'm
a big Spotify guy. I listen and I just pay the little premium so I don't, I ain't watching them ads. But no, it's so crazy. I have like this weird, I hate ads, bro.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we're going backwards when there's ads. Because I try to, if I want to stream, I'm trying to get away from the old days.
No, man.
Like, I can't watch TV if there's an ad. The only place they ever get me now is live sports. That's where they got me trapped.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get away from.
Yeah. And they get you there too, hardcore, because it'll be like right at the like, oh man, you're like on the edge of your seat with this game, and they're like, all right, we'll be right back with
Allstate and State Farm. Liberty, every time, dude. It gets old for sure.
Yeah.
Man.
But you're saying this, Joe, and watch, man, you're going to keep working on this.
I'll have ads.
Yeah. No you're going to be, doing your podcast masterclass or whatever it is. And like, hey, what's up? It's your guy, Joe. Like,
it's because you can't get away from ads. You can't.
No, you can't.
Because that's where the money comes into it.
Yeah. And, it's like we are bombarded by billboards, our phones, like TV, whatever it is, the radio, whatever. It's like we are constantly being bombarded by all these advertisements. And it's so crazy because this past year I've made a decision, like I wanted to go all in on like sales and marketing. Like I was like, man, this is the part of my business that I have to get down. Like I just was never good at sales. Like I just hated asking people for money, even though like I know the value's there. It's like, it was just like this weird like mental thing. And I was like, I got to get this thing figured out. And you start to learn just how many times people have to see you, see your name, see your content, see all of your stuff before they're ever even comfortable like actually listening to you. I think it's like they've got to listen to something of yours for a full hour before they're going to start to trust you.
Really?
But knowing that, it's like, okay, cool. So if I can like put out enough content where even if they're catching a few second clips like on Facebook or Instagram, eventually I'm going to get to that hour to where they trust me
somebody might
more.
come watch the long form.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then that's where you start, going in a little bit deeper with them, right?
I see that because like I'm posting clips. The clips always do numbers. But they're short. You're asking less. And I'm always thinking, how do we convert them from the clip? How do we convert them to the clip? From what you're saying, it seems like it just takes time. They just need to keep seeing the clips.
Yeah, bro.
And eventually they're going to be like, okay, I need to go. I want to hear more.
Yes, there's a book I'm reading right now. It's called Oversubscribed. And this guy, he talks about you want to get to a place where in your life and your business, you are like oversubscribed, right? Like right now in my life, I'm unsubscribed. Like people are not paying much attention to me. I'm trying to do all this stuff, but I'm just not on that level yet. Huh. You know what I mean? But basically he says that when people see a clip of yours and they're like, oh snap, I like what they're talking about. They need to be able to go and find hours of your content to just binge, because that's where we're at now. Like when I find somebody I like, I'm fixing to listen to every single thing that they got. And so it's 100%
true. I have a handful of people like straight in my head where I'm just like,
yes.
I've went down the Joe Rogan train. I've went down the Shane Gillis train. I like comedy a lot.
Yeah.
So I listen to a lot of. So that's kind of how I've been, because you got to blow off steam too. I feel like you can't just learn all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where comedy's been good, because it puts me in a good mood, first of all, because I love just sitting around laughing. You just find guys and they're talking about the world, but you're seeing it through the lens, like the filter of a comedian.
Yes.
They're making fun of it.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I'm actually learning about what's going on, but they're tricking me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting information, but I like that they're making fun of it, because I think you have to find the humor and stuff. If you can't find the humor and stuff, that's rough. So I go back and forth, shout the Rest is History podcast. These two, I get my history in.
Okay.
That's the Tom Holland and Dominic something, old British white dudes, you could tell. But
I think that one sounds familiar.
that's awesome. I go through and I've learned, man, I do a ton of learning. I like Star Talk. That I get a little science in, I get a little history in,
Yeah.
get a little business in here and there. And then I listen to comedians, basically. Yeah.
So. Man, it was crazy. So several years ago, my wife and I, we lived in Austin. I was working on finishing my degree. And I was like, in Austin, there's like a huge stand-up scene.
Yeah.
And so like improv, sketch comedy, stand-up, all this stuff. It's like this huge like underground. It's not really underground. It's like there's clubs everywhere. Yeah.
Joe Rogan moved there.
I mean, yeah, this was like right before he moved there, right? So we moved back. He moved there. I'm like, really?
Did you leave during COVID or before?
Before.
Oh,
so we got back
COVID,
2018, I believe. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, 2018.
The comedy boom in Austin hit during COVID because Los Angeles shut down.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, we got to be able to talk.
Yeah.
So they just congregated. Where in Texas, is like,
we can still get away with it, right?
Try it. See what happens.
But it was crazy because you like going, and so I was like, I'm going to try the stand-up thing. So I like prepping.
Oh, you tried stand-up?
Yeah.
Dude, stand-up's way too hard.
Man, I wish I would have stuck with that. Like, I really wish, like, I really would have kept, because you have to, like, you want to talk about, like, starting a podcast or, like, building a business. Like, these stand-up guys, like, that is a whole different level.
Dude.
To go and bomb night after night after night. Like, you are not funny. Boo, your jokes suck.
Yeah.
And the next night, you're back up there. Like, you got to have some, like...
Dude, I listen to some of the top comedy podcast people. They talk about bombing.
Yeah.
All the time. Shane Gillis, Joe Rogan, all these people, like arena acts.
Yes.
Tony Hinchcliffe, like they say, yeah, I went in there and bombed the other day.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're like the top 10.
It never goes away. Like, because when you get new content, you've got to try it out. But you have to flesh out. You've listened to Rogan, so you've heard him talk about. You got to like flesh out the unique little intricacies of how you're going to say it and how you're going to deliver it and stuff. Dude, I like read books on this stuff. I was like, this is what I'm going to do with my life.
It's cool, but you have to be a wordsmith. You have to be able to think. Man, it's like in writing music, because I used to write a lot of music.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why I feel like I could write a joke maybe, but it's like you have to be able to think about the end and almost work backwards.
Yes, you do.
Because like in a song, like in a verse, like if I was writing like a meaningful song, I would want it to be pushing into like one direction. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I would need to know where I'm heading in order to get there.
Right.
Which is some good life advice probably for,
something else. Getting deep with
easy
it.
now. Easy now. No, you got to know where you're heading. You're going to get there. Yeah.
But yeah, no, these comedians and like, yeah, like you said, it's like a life thing for real. As far as like, starting to do that. Cause it's like you said, it hits on multiple different levels, you know what I mean? As far as like, knowing the joke and being able to work back, man, I lost what I was going to say, but I had some fire. I lost my train of thought. I was fixing to draw some gold.
But I mean, in life, we bomb all the time. And if you try new things in life, you're going to bomb.
Yeah, that's it.
And so like, if anytime you stick your neck out and you're like, okay, I'm going to go do this, like you can't, like my buddy, me and him started the podcast and like we posted like our 4th TikTok. And it got like 1 million. We're like, oh. Yes. So then we were like, oh yeah, this is easy. This is easy. And then like, and he kind of gave up already on it. He won't listen to this because he don't never listen to nothing I do because he ain't got time for all that. But I could tell once the process didn't repeat, he kind of checked out of all right. Like he was like, all right, now you run TikTok.
Yes.
And I kind of have the mindset of like, we obviously it's not going to work every time, dude.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. You have to keep doing it.
Bro, this is actually what you're talking about is a literal principle, a life principle. This happens in everything. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect.
The Dunning-Kruger effect.
All right, so I'm going to break it down for you really quick. All right. So, all right, whenever you start out on this journey, you're like super optimistic, right? You're like, man, we just got this TikTok popping off, man. We got 1 million views, man. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And you come up to this like peak, right? And this peak is actually called Peak of Mount Stupid.
Peak of Mount Stupid.
Peak of Mount Stupid.
Yeah.
Because you are confident about what you don't even know yet, right? You're still new to the process, right? They call that beginner's luck. You know what I mean? And so as you start to go on this process, you actually come all the way down. It like brings you all the way down, like humbles you. And they call this the valley of despair. Yes, because
I feel
that's
it.
where most people give up, right?
Yeah,
Where are the
for
views
real.
at? Like, what, man, we got 1 million views on this one. Like, we were popping off. Now it's like 200. What is this, you know? And that's where most people give up. And then so what happens is they start back over with something new. And then
you go to Mount Stupid and then the Valley of
repeat that
Despair and then they
cycle.
quit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
But,
Yeah.
but listen to me. If you will continue to push through that,
Yeah.
you know, you start to hit that upward slope again. It's not as steep as that initial one was, but now you have what's called, like, I forget the actual terminology, but like you're aware of what you're unaware of. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like, oh, I realize how much I don't know.
Yeah.
and how much I
there's
have
a
to
lot
learn.
of, that's some good of knowing that you don't know everything.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And so it's like this slow, gradual thing. It's called the slope of enlightenment. Right? So you're
There you
getting
go.
this-
Yeah.
And then eventually it reaches to like achievement. It kind of like plateaus out, and then you might kind of hit some more of these waves. And that's kind of like how the process works.
Yeah. I believe that. I've
yeah.
seen that in life.
Absolutely.
And I think I may have quit some things that may have worked. You know, as somebody that's tried a lot of things, I have quit things that probably would have worked.
I think anything will work as long as we will.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you said something there. Yeah,
So-
anything will work as long as you will. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with that.
I heard something the other day. I actually shared it on my Instagram. And it said, what they said was, amateurs will do it until they get it right. Professionals will do it until they can't get it wrong. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
and that brings up something else. Repetition.
Yes.
Good God. Yeah, repetition is so important. And there's so many different little things at play. Like it is so foolish at the beginning to think that what you try is going to work off the rip.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make any sense at all. But in that moment, it's like I had this. It's like you were talking about the slope of enlightenment. You think you're there already.
Yep.
And then like you think you're on the slope of enlightenment, but you're really
Yeah.
at the top
No.
of Mount Stupid.
You have no clue what you're in for.
Yeah.
And then what happens on the way down, you're like, oh man, like, you know, you start getting in your head about it. You're like,
Yeah.
man, nobody likes us. Man, our podcast sucks.
Yes.
You know, man, we should have done this idea. We should have done this. I can't believe I said that on there. And it just like kind of like negative spirals down, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, that's so real. The man, I would be lying if I said that we haven't thought about quitting. You know, even the podcast. It's been working. I know it's working, and I know that I'm learning the way to make it work. But man, it just you have to tell. I have to tell myself over and over again, like, where's the hundreds of viewers on the long form? It's like, okay, we got to convince them. We got to build some type of trust.
Yep.
Why would they go listen? Why would a stranger? Well, in fact, I think a stranger will listen.
Yes.
But before
Yes.
but you have to convince, especially somebody you know, to go listen to you talk for an hour at a time. They're like, fool, I hear you talk all the time.
Yes. So a couple of things on that, man. So the first thing is like, I think they said somebody's going to have to like fact check me on this, but I think they said like 80% of podcasts fail within like the first 2 months. So like if you can get past that 2 months, like you're probably going to make it. Like you just have to get over that first hurdle. Once again, that's like seeing that Dunning-Kruger effect like kind of take place. But yeah, so I did like my podcast analytics like last year to like see what my year looked like.
How long have you been doing it?
Like 2.5, 3 years.
Yes.
But it's been very much like if I get busy, there's like this past month I haven't recorded a single show. But then there's months where I pump out like 4, 6 episodes. You know, it's just like
Right.
psh, psh, psh. And but anyway, so I looked it up, and dude, most of my viewers, I think I had like one. It might have been me, bro. I think I had one viewer from Texarkana.
It is like that though.
But I had thousands of downloads, and they were like overseas, different countries. I'm like, how are they even getting my stuff? You know? So I'm like, is it Instagram? Is it YouTube?
Some type of
Like,
algorithm is giving you to somebody.
I don't know, but they're listening and they're loyal because they keep coming back and listening. So,
Man, the people around, like, I don't know. It's just, it's harder to convince. It's harder to convince someone you know that you are something. You know what I'm saying? Because they know you. That like I don't give a damn what he's doing. Or I don't give a damn what he's doing. That's Joe.
Yeah,
I know Joe.
A prophet's not accepted in his hometown, bro.
That's real. Because
you know what's crazy? I realized this the other day because somebody was like complaining, like nobody's coming to my business, nobody's coming to my restaurant, or something like that. And it's so funny because this happens. Like the first Facebook post goes like this: hey guys, I'm opening up this new business. Or actually it goes like this. Hey guys, I'm thinking about opening up this. People are like, oh yeah, man, that would go hard, man. We would love that. We can't wait until that opens. And you're like, all right, sweet, like bet. And then you're like, hey guys, I opened up for business. Like, can't wait to see y'all in. Crickets, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, where y'all at? Like, y'all were all in on this. So I really do think that that's another, like, maybe a principle where like,
don't trust the hype.
well, I mean, you got to trust it because you got to go do your thing.
Yeah.
But also like, don't think that that's like the end all be all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't do it for those reasons, right? Do it because.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Like motivation, the beginning motivation is important, right? When you say that, like why you start something is as important as starting something.
Yeah.
Especially down the road. Like I always try to flip back to like the beginning motivations of this. I just want to have good conversations with people.
Yeah.
And so like anytime the numbers start bothering me or it's not going as fast as I want it to, I say, well, I'm having good conversations.
Yes.
And so if I can just go back to that original thought, why do you want to do a podcast, Joe? Well, I want to have good conversations. Okay, we'll just keep going back to that. So if I can just keep having good conversations, if I can find interesting people that can talk with me, then it has no choice but to at least do better than what it is now.
Yeah. It's that whole idea of like start with why, why you want to do something.
Yeah.
And then if you can really like lock in on that, then people are going to be gravitated to that. One, because in a age where we have all of this like social media, like, man, there's filters and like, we're like questioning like, is that AI? It's like we're getting to that point. So the further we get into the future, the more real authenticity is going to become more valuable. And so you staying true to that and just saying like, hey, this is who I am. This is what we're talking about. If you like it, cool. If not, I'm still doing it. Like, I really don't care.
Right.
People are going to be like, dang, I want to listen to that now, So it's just like, we are going to be really craving that. So
I think you said something there with the AI stuff. Everybody thinks that is, and I have thoughts about it taking over, as far as like what we consume.
Yeah.
But I think people are going to want to see what other people are doing. At the end of the day, the AI stuff will just, I won't say it's going to wear off. And I think that it's really kind of scary. I don't know. I'm scared of AI.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I done went down the rabbit hole. But
yes.
But like, and I was telling somebody this other day, I said, man, like going outside and being in the woods and doing stuff like that, I feel like that's going to be like a really cool thing here soon because the opposite is because what we're going to lean into is the opposite of that.
Yes. So the pendulum's always going to like swing back, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I always try to stay optimistic. Like you got to know the dangers, but like you also have to be optimistic too. And like, I'm thinking, how cool would it be if like, AI is here to like basically set everybody up for success. Like,
it's incredibly optimistic.
I know, in a very controlled form.
Yeah.
You've listened to a little Rogan because you listen to that and it's like, but I mean, imagine we get to this place where we all get to do this kind of thing, where we all get to be expressing ourselves creatively rather than working these like 9-to-5s that are actually killing us. What if AI can like take over that? That way we can have like a new renaissance of like art and film and, personal development or whatever it is. Like that would be insane.
It sound good.
I'm hopeful.
It sound good. But I don't
know.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid because of what humans have done throughout history with things.
Yeah.
With innovations.
Yeah. Where
our hearts normally go, especially the leaderships.
So you big on conspiracy theories?
To an extent. I love a good conspiracy theory, but I don't like to jump off a cliff for a conspiracy theory.
All right, well,
I like to stay grounded with the conspiracies.
Here's this. We're going to jump off a cliff real quick.
Okay, I'm ready.
So are you familiar with AI in a box?
AI in a box.
So this one just got shared with me like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, snap. And so like, you got the iPhone? What do you use?
I use the Samsung. I got it's a nice one.
Yeah.
But it is.
How long do you think you had that before they actually dropped it?
How long did I have it before?
No, sorry. How long do you think they had it before they dropped it?
Oh, a while, probably. I would assume. You're talking about, wait, who is they?
Like
AT&T? I mean, like
the Samsung creators, like the people who have all of this like
the government.
Technology. Okay, so we're talking about the infamous they. We're talking conspiracy talk.
Yeah, okay,
we don't know who they are.
Yeah, they. Yeah, I would assume they are ahead several years.
Yeah. I mean, I would be willing to bet this iPhone They probably had the technology of that when they dropped the first iPhone. Maybe.
You think so?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But so this whole idea with AI in a box is that AI has been around forever. It's just now getting leaked to us. It's just now becoming...
Well, that seems realistic.
I don't know. Or it seems completely unrealistic. I don't know.
But I mean, it seems like it's weird that they have this new cool thing and like they're sharing it with us. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Yeah. The infamous day. Why would they share something
why would they
with
give us something so cool?
Yeah. It's making our life easier.
I like AI though, but no, that's one of those things where it's just like we kind of like us, the common man. We just sit around and go, that's interesting.
And people are making millions of dollars talking about this on podcasts. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, really. And man, to an extent, I try not to just talk about stuff that'll be like trendy, And I feel like there's a lot of podcasts that say, okay, we're going to talk about this today because that's what's going to get us the views.
I mean, you can't really hate them for it because then it goes viral.
It's going viral. They're doing better than me, so
especially if it's good,
Yeah, but that is interesting, man. The whole AI thing is crazy. I find it hard to believe that we would have access to the top of the line technology because that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and so I don't know what the next step up from what AI would be. Like,
publicly is I think ChatGPT-5 is the one they're dumping millions of dollars into.
Okay.
Like $10 million or some crazy number. But it's just like...
What does it do?
Like, they're just uploading information into this thing. And from my understanding, it's like this... And
they're going to write me a better resume? Like,
I'm afraid that what it can do is more like, there's comedians, like I heard comedians talking about that. They like, okay, let's say you have 200 episodes of a podcast.
Yeah.
That's 200 hours easy that they could download put into this thing. And it could start making
money
assumptions
or something
about who you are and recreate you as a character. Like Joe as the character in creative interviews, Addicted to Arguing, whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
It could guess me. Like,
yeah,
it could take my voice because that's easy.
Yeah.
The AI and voices, that's super easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's years old.
Have you heard... I have to pop in real fast.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
Here. Have you heard where they've taken Michael Jackson's voice AI and put it over like The Weeknd?
No, I haven't heard that.
Bro.
I mean, Drake and
Michael
The Weeknd
Jackson singing The Weeknd is like 10 times... Like The Weeknd's good.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jackson doing it's like... Because like, I don't know how they did it, bro. But it's like got all of the little Michael Jackson isms in there where he's like, hey, just doing the like little things. And it's like, dang, how did
that's
they
a walk
do
in the
this?
park for AI. That's easy.
Right.
That's easy. No, voice stuff, from my understanding, voice stuff is easy. With the more advanced AI stuff that's out there, that's easy. They only need like 30 seconds of your voice. That's a wrap.
30 seconds.
Yeah. And you got to think that there's a lot of bad that can come from this too. But I hate to go down the AI rabbit hole the whole time. But I like AI. It helps me do stuff. I'll ask AI something that I would usually Google and get like a different answer. So like today, I asked it. Look, dude, this is me talking to AI. This is a crazy person.
Are you
talking
is this
about
the Snapchat
science.
one?
Yeah, I'm this Snapchat. With Snapchat, like I was asking it questions about like science stuff, like gravity and the moon phases and stuff like this. And I don't know, it's just talking to me and telling me some stuff I'm learning.
Yeah. Are you like having the eclipse hangover? Is that what this is?
Well, no, but I think I'm reacting to other people's eclipse hangovers more than anything. Like the flat Earth and the different communities of their. I'm just seeing science stuff, and I just have to go ask questions and do some thinking.
Interesting. Now you got me thinking, bro.
Yeah. Like, okay, so I have yet to have, and this is something I'm going to do. I want to get somebody that's like diehard flat Earth and just sit them in here with me and have like an adult conversation.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see if I can like play devil's advocate real quick.
Yeah. Well, okay. So why do you think the Earth is flat?
So,
do you think the Earth is flat?
Well, there is some biblical scripture that talks about the four corners of the earth. It says that the earth is set on its foundations, and that actually he created the sun and the moon second. So I don't know.
So you think the sun is local?
Could be. And I don't know if it's like in the firmament or out.
They say the firmament, the dome, the ice wall, whatever you want to say.
But have you seen the United Nations logo.
Yeah, but that's just flattened out so they could put everybody's deal up
Have you seen the
front.
flight thing from like LA to China or whatever it was?
I've
Did you
looked
see that?
I've looked at the flights, but I've also
There's some pretty compelling arguments.
You have to think about this on a large scale. On a large scale, this is the biggest conspiracy ever.
Yeah.
This is the multi-government,
Yes.
multi-scientist from every. You're trying to tell me that every scientist, every top scientist from every country, when we ain't did nothing but fight each other for thousands of years,
Yes.
can agree about
They're all
one
in on
thing?
it. Just like Nickelodeon, they're all in.
Oh, they're all in. Oh, man.
So
Dark.
NASA, the Hebrew for NASA is like Nasha, which means to deceive. And if you look at the NASA logo, it looks like a little serpent's tongue. I know you've probably seen all this because
Yes.
I think you've done
I've
your
been
research.
down the rabbit hole. I'm not convinced, and I'll say I don't want to argue with nobody, but I would like to have an educated, decently educated, because I like science. Because think about like even a bubble. You blow a bubble. What shape does it make? Why does it do that?
Makes a circle.
Yeah, it fills out the filament and it makes a perfect circle. Gravity is pulling us from the center, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to gravity is pulling equally. What did that make?
Yeah.
That makes a ball.
Yeah. So check this out. I'm gonna capitalize on this because I've done my research too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not know.
As a man that's just standing on the ground, just guessing.
Yeah.
Because it looks flat when you look
And
out.
I'm
because
not
we're
like
too small.
a physicist or
Right.
whatever you have to be to even understand all this. But this guy, he broke it down really good. He said, actually, it's almost like a Republican versus Democrat argument. You know, so we've got your globe people who are like sold on it's a globe, and then you have flat Earth people who are sold on it's a flat Earth. But what if it's actually both?
Flat of the globe.
So basically, have you seen the picture of like the human man, and it's like got like his aura and his like chakras and all this different stuff, and it's like he's got like this like glowing thing like coming in and out and around him. He said, what if the Earth's more like that? So it's like not necessarily a sphere, but it's like this energetic flowing type. Once again, I don't know. He explained it a lot better than I am right now.
Why are they wasting their time with all of this science and numbers? And there's people's whole lives are dedicated to physics and learning about the universe. And then like we got to talk about telescopes. All right, is everybody's telescope lying? I don't think so.
Well, so yesterday when we had the eclipse, was there no moon in China?
Moon in China. No moon.
Where was the moon? If the moon was covering the sun, could China see the moon last night? And what did they see if they did?
China see the moon last night.
You know what I mean? Like, so if
China's the opposite. Right. So right.
I don't know if it actually is opposite, but
yeah. So if we're here, So if the United States over here, and the sun was coming up from the east, because the sun always comes up from the east, and the moon crossed it from the other way, right?
I don't know, dude.
No, we were talking about it. I got to get this
I don't
in
know.
my
That's
mind.
just like what I thought. I'm like looking up. I'm like, where's the moon at in China right now?
No, it wouldn't be. It would be on our side because it's blocking the sun.
So there's no moon over there.
But it circles the Earth. Like you see the moon in the daytime sometimes. It just depends on where it's at. Because the moon is always going around Earth.
But you can still see it in China. I guess like my distance, like I don't like my mind can't comprehend how far away stuff is.
I don't think us and China can look at the moon at the same time.
We can't.
I don't think so.
That's something we need to ask AI.
Let's ask. This is a perfect opportunity to test out AI. Can people in China and people in America, I may not be wording this right, can people in China and people in America see the moon at the same time? Do your magic. Let's see what they have to say. Okay,
it says the flat Earth model, absolutely. No, just like
It says yes, people in China and people in America can see the moon at the same time. The moon is visible from different parts of the world, and its position in the sky changes throughout the day. So even though it might be daytime in one place, the moon can still be seen in the sky. It's pretty cool to think about and look up and share the same view of our beautiful moon, no matter where we are. How are we seeing the moon from the same way? That's a good question.
I don't know. But I mean, and that was
maybe
another thing.
Maybe they're not on the opposite side of us, and they're, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they're.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So if this is the Earth, and here's the moon, we could, you know what I'm saying, see it over here and over here, you know. But obviously, if you was down here and somebody was over here and the moon was over here, maybe I don't know, man. But the moon is far away from us, right?
I know. That's what I'm like trying to justify it in my mind.
But I think so. Like, when people say the sun and the moon are, I did not know we was going this route. But anyways, when people say the sun and moon are local, both. First of all, the sun, so it's everybody. Okay, so like I watched a guy with a telescope, right? A solar telescope.
Yeah.
Looking at, so did he just, is he fibbing to us when he gauges how much he has to zoom in on the sun?
Bro, I don't know.
That seems like that would be a hassle for every guy with a telescope to have to lie.
I don't know. I don't know how all of it works. I haven't looked that far into it. I just,
my bad. I went, but there's certain things like, okay, there is certain things that nobody has explained to me. Day and night on the flat earth doesn't make all that much sense to me. Seasons don't make all that much sense to me.
Yeah.
Because why would we have different seasons if we're just sitting here on a disc? That don't make sense.
Yeah.
We're moving around the sun and we're on an axis. And so different parts of us at different times are getting hit by the sun.
Yeah.
Different. I like science. I like science. So it's like let's say I go listen to all these science podcasts and I turn around and get on the internet and people say, okay, they're wrong. Well, that engages me curiosity-wise.
Yeah.
Okay, am I wasting my time? Like, these are legitimate questions. Like, do I need to stop listening to hours of science every week?
I don't think so, bro. I think you're good.
I will say this. To believe in the flat earth, I feel like you do. You would have to throw out a good chunk of mainstream science.
Yeah,
I'm not ready to do that. So I will say
that's a big jump, right? That's a big jump.
Huge jump.
Man, I had something. This guy, he broke it down really well as far as just like how the sun, but once again, like, I don't know. When I saw the eclipse yesterday, it messed my world up. I was like, I don't know what anything means anymore.
Wasn't it beautiful? Like, it's a crazy event, like a cosmic event that reminds us like that Earth isn't it. You know, there's other stuff at play.
Yeah.
And I think people want Earth to be the center of everything. And I don't think that that's true.
Right. And I think that is like whenever I first initially heard this flat Earth argument, I guess you can say, and I'm drawn to this idea too, is that, you know, and this goes back to the Bible as well, which I'm a firm believer in, is that God created the earth, right? And on the earth, he cares for it. He's watching what's taking place. He's got his hand over it, right? All of these different things. Now, when you believe in the other idea, right, that we're on a globe, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of galaxies, it's harder to believe that there's a God who loves and cares for you and is like, you know what I mean? So,
but what if this is like multiple science projects going on here?
I think it is really because I mean, who can contain our God? You know,
I mean, and a God so strong could make more galaxies.
Absolutely,
there could be,
and that's like where I get hung up. It's like, why would he stop at one? He can create a billion.
Yeah, and why would he have to tell us about one?
He doesn't.
Exactly.
He's God. He's sovereign. He can do what he wants.
And so people have lots of opinions about God. It's like, you know, when you look at something like the eclipse the other day, okay, that doesn't feel random at all.
Mm-mm.
You know, and I don't know, not to go down that rabbit hole, but it's like, okay, to describe a God, okay, they could do that. This is not out of their framework.
Yeah.
And even if you were to create something like the Bible or something, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to say, oh yeah, and then you got some alien cousins over there down the block, 3 galaxies over. Like,
it's not relevant.
It isn't, because
it's not relevant because the most important thing out of the Bible is that I love you and you love me, right? That's like
when
the
you get down
thing.
to it, because that's what Jesus said.
Yeah.
Jesus was more about, and that's the thing, like people don't know, I worked at a church for a little bit.
Yeah.
I was a youth pastor at Buchanan Baptist. I did it for like 2 years.
No way, bro.
Yeah. And I was like a star student for a little bit. Well, it was, and I will say this, it helped me at a good time because, like I said, it was right after my mom passed. And this group of people did help me a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's kind of tragic how, not how it ended. I don't know, I gave out basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I ever recovered from it.
Well, and, you know, we don't have to really get into this, but Buchanan Baptist is right up the road.
Yeah,
I went to church there whenever I was growing up. Right. You know, this right down the road from like...
Yeah, I went to school with your brother.
Yeah. And so I think that it's been a recurring thing for them to have somebody in that position there. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, the lady that came before me was awesome. Like, she was the real deal. Like, they had like 50 kids there. And like, that's huge for like what the deal was. And so then I took over after, and I didn't, and see, that's the thing. I didn't really want the job because but she, like there was something that happened that I'm not getting into that. I would never do that. But anyways, that role came open and like, I kind of got pressured into it because like I was the college age guy at that time.
Yep.
And I was like,
You had a way to
we
connect.
lived and died at the church. Like we was there all the time.
Yeah.
That's where I met my wife. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like
Crazy.
this was like, yeah, and it was a huge part. And then I took over, and then like the pressure of it was rough. I wasn't really old enough to do it, you know? And like these guys, we would do these events, like go to the different events where they bring all the youth groups together, and it was, and I ain't gonna lie, like some of these people were like, look how many people I got in my youth group, like flexing, like it was crazy.
Yeah,
one dude wouldn't even speak to me. I was like, hey, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And it was almost like, how many people you got in your group? And I was like, what do you mean? Then he went to prison.
Throw that out there.
Yeah, and people around here, you know who I'm talking to.
Yeah,
you know who I'm talking about.
Man, it's an unfortunate thing. And this is why people who are not Christians can look at it and be like, I don't want to be a part of that. Look at that dysfunction.
I will say, that I think the last thing I want to do is work at a church again. 100%. I would never do that again. Never. And I don't know. I still believe in God, but it's like the church is a business. The church is a system. For 100%, the church is a system.
Yeah.
You're getting tax breaks. It's a system. There's paychecks. There's and then and that's not. And anyway, my point from earlier was that, dude, I studied the Bible. I know I know a good portion of, I know about it. And so it's not, modern church is nothing like Paul and the homies chilling.
No. And they wasn't chilling.
They were scared for their life. But yeah, you know what I'm saying?
They was out doing stuff.
Yeah, what Paul would have considered like meeting is not what's happening here.
No.
And then the mega churches and all that stuff like that, that's just, there's no way nobody can box that for, we're reaching so many more people by mega churches. That's not how they operated.
Yeah, man, I heard it put like this. Why do we keep going and building churches when Jesus said himself he would build the church? Yeah. He called us to go out into the world, not build a church where we could be contained in four walls. And I get the concept, okay? You know, if we make stuff nicer, you know, I've been in meetings before, right? As someone that worked at a church, okay, you have a budget meeting. Okay, we need to spend this much on the screen because we're going to convert this many people from the screen on the wall. It's goofy. It really is goofy, but at the same time, I do understand. You want it to look nice.
You want it to look nice. You want it to feel nice. And then like these old people and the young people, they're fighting. They were like fighting over the hymns and stuff. Like, we're going to sing hymns. And they're like, well,
no, we're not.
Nobody wants to sing hymns no more. And it's just like, dude, this doesn't feel like what I was reading. You know what I'm saying? Like they were really like, and it was a lot more radical in the Bible. I mean, you get into the New Testament. I'm not throwing no churches under the bus in town. I won't do that.
Right.
I'm just saying, but that's, in my opinion, I don't know where you could go where you could get what's actually happening in the New Testament times.
Yes.
In an American church.
Yes. And here is like, you know, we don't even have to spend a whole lot of time on this, but like we have to continuously remind ourselves that like people are flawed individuals. We cannot get it right. That's why we need his love and his grace. But like with that in mind, it's like we can't get hung up on the semantics of it. At the end of the day, like, yeah, I do believe like you need to be a part of a church. That way you can learn and pour into. And I do think there are places that you can go where you can find a place. Is it going to be perfect? Is it going to be exactly what we want?
Not even
Probably
a church.
not.
Maybe you need to find a group of people that's dedicated. But I guess that turns into a church. I bet that's happened a bunch where you got the homies together and then, we'll start a church.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. At the end of the day, especially Christianity, when it comes to religious, it is at the root supposed to be a people thing.
Yes, it is.
It is. Yeah. And I definitely, you know what I'm saying? And I felt the good love that comes from it.
Yeah.
But then like working there, I was like, ooh,
I'm sure you see the dirty side, which I never have seen.
Yeah.
You hear about it.
Don't go work at a church. I mean, you probably have the right, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man.
But it can change. Like, cause a service will happen and it's like you'll leave and you'll be like, man, I love what he was talking about. And somebody will be like, well, did you see so-and-so over there?
Yes.
It's like, okay, that don't have nothing to do.
No, you're always going to have that, right?
Yeah.
Always.
But that's just people being people.
That's people being people. That's why we need God, because we suck.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's where I've never felt called to be like in a church. Who knows? In a different season of my life, who knows where God's going to take me? I don't know. Yeah. But right now, he's telling me, go out. And when I go out, not punching Jesus down people's throat. If people want to ask and talk about it, sure.
Yeah.
But instead, to demonstrate to demonstrate what the Bible teaches. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's the move.
Yes.
Like a faith run, I feel like you're doing right.
Yeah.
I like that.
And people who want to come can come. If they don't want to, that's fine.
You don't want to. But incorporating, like the actual teachings into everyday life.
Yeah.
Instead of like, this is the service. Be here, be square.
Yeah. Right.
I don't like the service. I don't like the service no more.
I used to feel that way. And now it's like.
But I understand that you could get into an environment that would work. And if I shopped churches, which is, I know people frown on that, but like if you shopped around, you probably could find, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. You need people in some way, shape, or form. You do need people that are going to encourage you.
You do. So I have a crazy story on like shopping around for a church, right? Yeah. So my wife and I, we were a part of a church, and we kind of like went through this whole thing where we really felt like we were called to leave, and like there was some like stuff going on we didn't agree with. Whole other topic, right? Yeah. Kind of aligned with what we're talking about actually, but we felt like we needed to leave. So we leave. And we were like, we knew we needed to find like a new church that we should be a part of. We really felt like God was like moving us like from here to a new place. And so I was like, all right, well, where do we want to go? And so we like tried one church. We were like, didn't really feel it. We went to another one, and we had like a list of like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 churches. Like, all right, these are the ones who are like on our radar that we want to try, and because unfortunately you do have to kind of like shop around to see like where your like environment is or where you feel at home or whatever, however you want to put it. And then I had a dream, and in this dream I was standing outside of what looked like a Walmart, right? And you remember like Walmart back in the day when they had like a garden section? Like they don't even have the garden section like they used to have.
Yeah, it used to look like the Lowe's garden section.
Yes. I guess they just do Lowe's now. But anyways, we were all standing outside waiting to get in. There's this huge line, and I was with my mom, and I woke up and I was like, And I realized that in dreams, this is kind of crazy. There is some play on words and places that actually have significant meaning. So like when you go to a grocery store, you're going there to get food, you're going there to get fed, you're going there to get supplies and provision. That's exactly what the church is supposed to be. That's why they say you need to bring your tithe to the storehouse, which is the church, where we can go and like distribute it to those who are in need and stuff like that. So this was an image of the church. I was outside waiting in line to get into a church because I was in this transitionary period where I was outside of the church and I wanted to get in. I felt like there was this long line. There was all of these luscious green plants and like this beautiful scenery, right? And I woke up, I was like, Church on the Rock. Like, and that's where I'm at now. And it's just crazy because that's like Gander Mountain, right?
It used to look like
it. Used to be like, it was just like a Gander Mountain. So it was just like, that was like how he kind of spoke to me. And of course we went there and service starts and I was like, dang, this is like where we're supposed to be. Yeah. So it's just crazy. Like he'll speak to you through dreams and stuff like that. It's just wild, So, but anyways, like enough about,
dreams are wild. We can go that route too, man. Dude, dreams are crazy because your brain is doing some wild stuff while you're sleeping. And there's some, me and Luke were talking the other day. I was like, dude, what if our dreams like, I don't know, what if that's like a portal into like something else?
So have you heard of like astral projection and all that kind of stuff?
Astral projection. I'm sure.
Like lucid dreaming.
Yeah, lucid dreaming. Yeah.
So it's like, apparently that's like a real thing that you can like do.
Yeah,
and like,
you can do it. You can lucid dream stuff.
That stuff's freaky.
Some people say that like, I hate to go down the Joe Rogan route, but like they be talking about psychedelics and stuff that like DMT and stuff like that. And they have like these, like I'm not a psychedelic dude. Trust me, I want no part of that. But
that's all.
I had a dude break down to me. He was like, dude, it's going to change your life. You have to do it. I was like, look, brother, I'm not doing acid. I'm not going to do acid or DMT because you told me to.
Yeah,
that's not. He was like, bro, you can look at yourself objectively. And I was like, man, I just need to go home and look in the mirror. Okay.
Without you can do that too with pen and paper.
I don't need psilocybin, mushrooms. I don't need DMT, all that stuff. I just need to just attempt to look at my life objectively as possible. But they say like, and a lot of people do, it is kind of interesting that a lot of people have a similar experience. Like when you really, really, really trip, they have like this encounter with like this other being.
Yeah, I've heard this. Yeah. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, because a lot of people, especially DMT, which our brain has DMT. Yeah, we have DMT in
when
our
you
brain.
Dream, right? Apparently it secretes DMT, right?
Yeah. And so, and they're doing scientific studies now. I think now that it's getting more widely accepted, they're about to do this big study. And they're trying to they're going to try to piece together if everybody is getting a similar experience.
Interesting.
Almost like a portal, or almost like it's taking you into a different part of reality, maybe.
I don't know, man. It's weird. There's been times where like I have a dream and like maybe like I'm sleeping next to my wife and like she was like in the dream, and then like we wake up and like we had similar dreams, and it's like, what? Like, were we in the same dream together? Like, what is that? Dreams are wild, man.
Yeah, because sometimes they just seem so pointless, and sometimes they're like really direct. Like if I have something to do tomorrow, I've had those. I know you've had the dream. Like you show up in your underwear or something, or you show up and you can't fix something, so you just like torture yourself all night.
Yes,
those seem kind of pointless too, but it's like it's kind of directed. Or like you have a dream that maybe you interpret it and means something to you. It's like, okay, what is happening?
Yeah,
I don't know, but that's another thing.
I think because in the Bible, God, He spoke to. I don't want to have to make this whole thing about the Bible or anything.
Yeah, but they spoke to people in dreams.
Absolutely,
100%.
absolutely. And so I think you have to kind of like know, like when is my brain basically looping through all of the garbage and stuff that I've done for the past like however long, and when is this like, oh, this means something. Like there was no, I'm telling you, there was something to this dream. Like, so I think
our brain is working very hard all the time. And like one of the main functions of our brain that we don't think about is it blocking out all the useless crap too.
Mm-hmm.
So our brain is like always like focusing in. That's why like you could trick it easily. And there, all these different types. Even if you think of the guys, what are they called? No, they're not magicians. They're like mentalists.
Dude, that stuff is insane.
Dude, I went on a cruise and this guy was just
messing
like,
with your head,
freaking the whole crowd, bro. And it really is insane. But it's like you can trick our brain because our brain's easily tricked because it's constantly working to focus. You know what I'm saying? It's because like there's too much information coming in.
Yes.
So like it's just like limiting your information all the time. It's like constantly your brain's just limited because we couldn't handle it.
Yeah, right.
And so that you could trick your brain.
So I heard a guy who was talking about this yesterday. He was talking about like how to make success automatic. And he talks about exactly what you're talking about is like we have two minds, right? We have our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. You familiar with these concepts, right?
Yeah.
And so like he said, but I don't want to use conscious and subconscious mind because like we can't like tangibly see that. Like that doesn't really, like if I say subconscious mind, it's like, what is that? So he said, I'm going to use it like this. The conscious mind is like your manual mind, right? And then your subconscious mind is like automatic, right? And so you have like your conscious mind where you're consciously in control of what you're thinking, what you're doing, what you're hearing, all that kind of stuff, right? If we stop for a second, we can like hear like a steady buzz in the room, right?
Yeah, the fan.
You're right, yeah. And then so...
But how long have that fan's been going the whole time? How long have you focused on that fan?
I haven't.
Exactly. That's crazy. Your brain has been working the whole time.
But your subconscious picks up all of it.
Okay, so you're saying the subconscious is picking everything up.
Yes. So the subconscious is able to take in and store everything, right? And so basically we have to use...
Is that proven or is that a theory?
Oh, that's real. Okay. That's real. Like every experience we've ever had, bro, we're fixing to get deep. It's documented in there. And you get like some of these like monks who like can like completely steal their mind. They can recollect some of this stuff that's like way down in there. So like
they have better memory by being able to draw into something like a different part of their brain.
Yeah. Because it's all there, And that's why some people like, you have like a traumatic moment, like a car accident or something like that. Your brain does a really good job as far as like a defense mechanism of like making you not remember that thing. Because like you said, you'd be constantly replaying that in your active mind. Yeah, it would be painful.
I feel like our brain's trying to protect us too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, this guy was talking, he was like, if you want to make success automatic, you basically have to make your subconscious mind nothing but success. Like you have to be like, man, how did he put it? He said...
Your subconscious or your manual? The one you have control over.
So you basically help program your subconscious mind.
Is this guy famous? This dude does he does seminars where he gets everybody in the places. He was on Theo Vaughn.
What's his name?
He's kind of got like a deep voice, real friendly looking guy, but he's buff.
Maybe. He's a little older, the guy I'm thinking
he's kind of got a scratchier voice. Hold on, man. Hold on. I'm going to zero in on this. I think I know what you're talking about. He does these big deals where he'll get people, he'll fill out an arena and get people to
just listen to
the word. Yeah, you used the word a second ago. What were you saying? What were you saying? Man, it's a word for
It's a word
program.
for... Oh, okay.
Yeah, programming.
No, this
your
is probably
mind.
not the same guy. The guy I'm thinking of, his name's Myron Golden.
Okay, never mind. This is Tony Robbins.
Oh, well, he's dope too. I did hear about them doing a podcast together.
Tony Robbins. Oh, I listened to the whole
He
thing.
does pack out arenas. He is like, I really admire him. I don't know. I think he's kind of got like a little bit of a cultish following, but the dude is like, he actually has helped like shape and change my life like for the better. And he shares exactly what I'm talking about, you know? And so basically you use your manual mind, the things that you can control, to program or instill the success stuff into your subconscious mind until it becomes automatic. Right. And so it's like programming habits, right? Yeah. So if you make sure you're going to do a podcast every single day, then eventually you don't have to think about it. You're going to wake up, come right over here, hit record and start doing a podcast, you know?
That's almost kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's basically how you do it. And man, he had this one line. It was so good. He said, a successful person is not trying to become successful any more than a failure is trying to fail, right? People who are failing in life aren't actively trying to fail.
They're not trying to fail. Yeah,
it's a part of their automatic mind. It's like they've literally been wired and programmed to
do the wrong thing.
Do the wrong thing.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it is the habits. Like you are, I don't want to say you are what you do, but in a sense, you kind of are because you do. If you do poor habits every day, you're not going to have a good life.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to like identity. It comes down to like your mindset. It comes down to, the thoughts that you have, the habits you have, the behaviors you have. It's all of it, man.
And it can be I 100% believe that because
absolutely.
when I get on this, I can get on some positive kicks and I can get down in the dumps. And it's like, there's certain things that get me out of the dumps that it's almost habit stuff. You know what I'm saying? Being, and one thing for anybody, just stop and be grateful. That's one thing.
Absolutely.
That'll get you out of like the biggest slump. It's like, okay, things really ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like I got food, I got a car, I got a house, my wife, my kids are healthy. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like
I think they said that gratitude is like the highest vibration in the universe. So if you feel gratitude, it's like right up next to love. You know, it really will like change your emotional state, So
I think you can change your emotional state. That's why I'm glad I didn't take because from what I understand, when you take a lot of medicine that is
kind of dulls it maybe
to less of correct a chemical imbalance, I guess, more of like it turns out
to like put a Band-Aid on it. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that can't feel all the way, like that are on SSRIs. That's like the little bit higher dosages of antidepressants and stuff. And like, I'm not, and I feel like some people do need those, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
About, just that when I stopped drinking and then like that, I was given the option to take medicine and then I just decided to, we'll try something different, And then I said, well, if my habits are so bad, you know what I'm saying? That should be a factor.
Yeah.
Into this. So like, at least I owe it to myself to try to correct my habits first before I take a medicine to try to correct.
Yeah, man. Your habits, your environment, your belief system about yourself. That was the biggest thing that I had to change whenever I was like at like my lowest point was I had formed this new identity about myself that was like totally untrue. I really did think like, man, I thought like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. Like I literally thought like, conspiracies, like I thought the whole world was like working against me to prevent me from ever being successful. Like I thought God had just like said, you know what, you're going to be a failure.
Yeah.
And I literally thought that. And then like, I started to say, you know what, I refuse to believe this. Like I refuse to believe that this is what my life is going to be. I said, that's like when I started like reprogram my mind and like, that's the power of like positive affirmations or making those declarations over yourself. Like we were talking about, like stop saying you're an addict and instead, say, no, I'm free, I'm healthy, I am whatever it is. And that's how I was like breaking that pattern of like thinking that way about myself. And like, dude, it actually did make a difference. It felt so fake and so phony at first.
At first, yeah, but then you get used to talking to yourself. I've been telling people this for years. You got to talk to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you can't, I don't know. You got to believe what you're saying about yourself too. But if you say it long enough, you'll start to believe it. That's
Absolutely.
the thing. Even if you weren't the GOAT yet, you could just say every day, I'm going to be the best at this. I'm going to be the best at this. I'm going to be the best at this. You think people like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant sat around and said, which their thing is maybe even to a higher degree, like an obsessive type deal.
Right.
Which may not be healthy. But
I think it's okay to be critics of ourselves, but it's at the same time, like, I was thinking about this the other day is if somebody were talking to you, Joe, and they were like, Joe, you stupid, dumb, just like going in on you, you'd be ready to like, all right, let's go. Like, I'm ready to bop. Like, we're about to fight. But we talk to ourselves like that all the time if we're not careful.
Yeah.
And you stupid, I can't believe you did that. That was the dumbest thing you ever, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, we have to change the way we speak to ourselves because like, especially when we speak out loud and our ears hear our voice, it like sinks into our heart.
Yeah.
And like everything we do flows from our heart. So when you really believe in yourself.
That's an interesting thought there that's your brain may process words differently if it hears it out loud.
That's the power of speaking something to yourself.
In your mind.
Yes. So
because you can think a thought and your mind would process that, you talk to yourself obviously in your head.
Yeah.
But like the difference of it coming out of your mouth and your ears hearing it, your brain would process it differently.
Oh yeah, when your own ears hear your voice saying something, I don't know if it's like how we're wired or what, but we believe it.
You blew my mind. I never thought about that.
Yeah, dude, isn't that
really
crazy?
Cool
I don't know where I got that.
I guess I've just assumed like if I say damn, why did cuss words just came to my head? My fault. I was just gonna say like something that I said in my head. Immediately the F word came up. I'm so sorry for that. But anyway, I was gonna say, dang, why is it all cussing? I can't get
say it. Just use it as an example.
Yeah, if I would just be like, fuck. And then like in my head, and then I would be like, that would be different than me actually saying it. Anyway, my bad.
Yeah, man.
That is interesting thought though.
I mean, just an experiment for yourself or really anybody who's listening to this is like, all right, you're in a room by yourself or you're in your car or whatever. Like just start saying certain things like, man, I'm worthless. You're going to feel an immediate response in your body. You're going to start to like slouch. You're going to start to, but I mean, you start saying, man, I'm so good looking. Man, I'm confident. I'm so proud of where I'm at in my life, man. Even if you don't believe it, continue to say it. And you'll hear those little thoughts in your head. Hey, are you really? Yes, I am. As a matter of fact, yes, I am. I'm better than I was yesterday. That's all that matters to me. And then you start to like really, it's going to boost, like you're going to feel that emotion like surging in you. You know what I mean? You're just going to change, like we said, change your emotional state.
Talking in the mirror. I like to do that. I look in the mirror. I'll be like, hey. Sometimes I'll be like, get it together.
Yeah. You got to have those talks too. Yeah. So
I think a lot of people aren't, I really do believe this. I think a lot of people aren't real with themselves. And I think that's like detrimental, bad. If you look at people that are really struggling, like if you look deep into it, I think a lot of people that really struggle, because one of the first steps of anything, even like the 12-step program or anything, is like you have to see that what you bring to the table is not working.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think, and there's definitely like even in social media, it's still prevalent, like the mindset of, man, there's all these haters. There's all these people talking about me. There's all these people that don't want to see me succeed. And when I see people post that all the time, I immediately think like you're focusing too much on everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's something to be said of, not reading comments, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like being confident in what you're doing. Like, well, that's one thing Joe Rogan says a lot. He's like, dude, I don't read the comments. Yeah. He'll tell all these other comedians. Like Shane,
dude, you can't read the comments.
You cannot read the comments. You cannot read the comments. Like if you blow up, the comments are going to be negative.
Yep.
We had 1 million views on a TikTok, and I think 10,000 comments. Like, and maybe not 10,000 comments. It was like 1,500. It was like 10,000 likes.
Still
1,500 comments. 6 of them might have been
like saying something.
Yeah, 6 of them were like, "Oh, that's funny." Like, and a lot of them were just like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this."
I know. We'll go to their page and look at how much they're sharing and how confident they are. And dude,
you can't go down, because I've almost wanted to like get on a burner account and go in on them and like talk about their haircut. You know what I'm saying? Like, Luke will do it. Like Luke will do it.
That is
my buddy. That does the other podcast. We'll post something. It'll get a little traction. The comments are, "Oh, this is why everybody shouldn't have a podcast." That's people's favorite one.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many video clips I've posted where somebody going, "This is why everybody shouldn't have a..." Somebody said, if you hit all the podcast equipment in the world, they'd still find it. Like stuff like that. And it's kind of funny. Luke will get on there with a burner account of a different name and go look at their profile and be like, yeah, that's why your haircut sucks. That's why this and that. I hope your mama falls off a bridge and all this stuff. Like,
these people, the ones who do this, like, we really should pray for them because they want to have the courage to go and start their podcast, but they can't.
What goes through somebody's mind when they go to comment something negative? Because I can think, like, me personally, like, I don't ever.
That's energy I just wasted. Like, saying
I don't
something
just
about.
go, like, I'll go put, like, if I like something, I'll comment on it.
Yeah.
But, like, to engage in something negatively on social media, maybe it's just a good habit I formed.
Yeah.
But what goes through your mind when you go say something crazy on somebody's stuff? I don't know.
I heard it put like this: like, you're never going to have somebody who's doing better than you talk down on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's what, like, I kind of like realized, like, oh, y'all got something to say? I must be doing pretty good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're doing something. Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of freed me up a little bit.
Human nature is wild. And this is what, and I think about this all the time. And you could think of it as so many different aspects. Like, I watched the World War II documentary. I'm sure everybody's tired of me talking about World War II, but I've been so hype on World War II. Not hype, really horrified, actually. Really. Because I never, like, okay, so at school, I would be at school and I always had some dream. I was already chasing dreams at school. So I wasn't listening. I was writing music in class.
Mm-hmm.
I was, at one point in my senior year, I was like reading the Bible in class. Like I was in that zone at that time. So like always I would find something I got into and I would deep dive into it, right?
Yep.
Not listening. So like history and all this stuff. So just like a year or two ago, I got back in to like actually learn. I'm like, okay, well, it'd be cool to learn. I've been learning about business for years and trying to better yourself and stuff like this. I was like, well, okay, we'll get back into history. We'll get back into science.
Yeah.
And so I get into history and like being an adult, like, and hearing these stories as an adult is terrifying. It's horrifying. I watched it's a 10 episode series on Netflix, World War II in color. So they just went back in and made it in color
or whatever,
so you can see it in color. It's real cool. But like, just horrified, dude. The numbers they just throw out. Yeah, in the London bombings when Germany bombed London for 57 days in a row, there was like 25,000 civilian casualties. And you're like, dude, those are people.
Fathom that, yeah.
There's moms and kids and non-combative people.
Yeah, like crazy.
The Dresden firestorm is awful. It's absolutely awful. It's maybe one of the worst things we've done. I guess it doesn't hold a candle to like Hiroshima and stuff. But anyways, that's like, it was like the
Probably
same
should be laughing, honestly.
Yeah, maybe not. But no, I get it. But no, the Dresden firestorm where we basically hit this place in Germany that basically, for some reason, they kind of felt, because they were like, I feel like they were away from everything in the war. They were kind of like in the back pocket. But I may be wrong on that. But for some reason, they had got comfortable and felt like this is just not a place they would attack. In this place, they kind of acted like the war wasn't going on. And like, maybe it was just like a place for people to come and unwind in Germany that were, because Germany was like, war. And so at the end of the war, kind of out of nowhere, America and Britain just bombed the crap out of this place. They were not ready for it. These are the casualty reports. At first they lied about the casualty reports, and I think later what they determined it was something like 20,000 civilians. And it's like, we kind of hit them when we didn't have to, but I mean, I guess we were trying to prove a point, but at the same time, I say all that to say, human nature, I come back to my main point is, it's like, dude, why, like, just the difficulty of getting along with people. And then when the bigger the scale is, the more is harder, good Lord, grammar, the harder it is for us to get together. And so like, that's what war is.
Yeah. Like
people not being able to get on the same page, and then you add history to it. It's like a history of people not agreeing. And then it's like, could we, like, think right now, do you see a foreseeable time in the future where there might not be war?
No.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
Like me, I'm just a regular dude. I don't want to go fight nobody today.
Yeah. No.
You're a regular. Did you wake up this morning and was like, you know what? I think I want to go toe to toe with somebody from another country.
No. But we do it. Huh?
But we do it. And it's like, I was in the army. I was trained in the infantry. Like my job was to learn how to kill people. Like
that's crazy.
I carried a machine gun the whole 9 yards, man. And so it's like, I kept thinking, like, especially towards the end when I was ready to get out and I was just having really like conflicted thoughts about it. It's like, dude, I really don't want to kill nobody. And also I would really be upset. Like, and I think when I had my son, I was like, dude, I would be so upset if I died for some old white dude's war. Like that would really upset me.
I feel like more people are starting to realize that too. Man, it's crazy just how much like kids will change your entire like outlook. Like, and seriously, that's like anybody who like maybe went to school with us, they'd hear me like talking about Jesus and stuff on here. Bro, it was having my son that made me like realize my need for God. Like it's crazy. Kids will change your life.
And it's like a switch.
It is.
It's like you see him at the hospital and you're like, I got to provide.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that turned my hustle up. And then, but the funny thing is my son turned my hustle up and I started just working crazy, especially with the studio. I dove headfirst into it. Then like I was telling you earlier, I started having the health problems. I knew I needed to stop drinking. I was getting in a bad spot. My wife is 8 months pregnant with my daughter. Bro, when I see her, I realized that I was putting myself, I'm talking about the moment I laid my eyes on her.
Yeah.
I knew that I was going to stop running the studio in the same capacity that I was doing. Like immediately when I saw her, I was like, this is it for me. Like the studio, having rappers around, all this stuff, I knew it was done for. And
that's crazy.
I immediately knew, I was like, okay, anybody that hits me up, they've got to be good people. Yeah. They have to be good people. Right. I'm not going to record them. And then I immediately realized what that meant. That meant I was done.
Sheesh, bro.
It meant I was done. And the studio's never recovered. It hasn't recovered since my daughter's been born. And took her to her 18th.
When was she born?
I took her to her 8-month appointment this morning.
So, all right, I'm going to tell you something. This is crazy. We didn't talk about this earlier. So last year, I do like the motivational speaking type stuff from like every now and then. And I was hanging out with my friend Luke Smith. You know Luke Smith? Yeah. So I'm hanging out with him.
I used to record him in this room over here.
Yeah.
This room on this other side of the wall is the first studio, like the first studio I ever built.
Yeah.
And he was one of my first people.
No way. That's wild.
Shout out to Luke.
So, but it was crazy. So he's over at my house and we're talking and I'm like, man, I got this idea like, of like other people have done it, but I was like, I kind of want my own version of it. And basically it's like, I don't know, you may have heard this, but motivational speakers, like, I don't know if you know who Eric Thomas is.
Eric Thomas. No,
he's like, his name is E.T. the hip hop preacher. He's a fire motivational speaker, like one of the best, but he would take clips from when he speaks and he'll put it over a hip hop track. And I mean, sometimes you like chop it up, edit it a little bit just so it like lays out right.
Yeah.
But man, it's just like, when I would go for like those long runs, I would listen to that. It's got the hip hop beat. So I'm getting a little bit of music, but I'm also like getting like knowledge. I'm getting fired up too. Yeah. And I was like, man, I want to do something like this. And so I started trying to do it myself. So I like bought like 10 beats or something like that. And I'm like speaking in my microphone. I'm like going in on this, like doing all this stuff. And I'm starting to lay it out. I'm like, this sounds awful. So I was talking to Luke about it and he was like, bro, you need to get hooked up with my man Joe.
My boy.
And then so this was about the time he was like, actually, I think he's like stepped away from the studio right now. And so I'm kind of starting to piece this together. That was like when you kind of pull back a little bit and stuff.
Yeah, this was 18 months ago. Like I said, when I see my daughter, I knew it was the end of the studio. I knew it was the end of the studio booming. I will say that.
Yeah,
I still got clients. I recorded a dude the other day. He's working on something. This is a guy, a safe person. that will pay lots of money because I have rappers in my inbox to this day.
Yeah.
I'm good at it. I know I'm good at it. There's things like
yeah, right.
I know. And I can use and I still use my audio stuff on the podcast. I can make this sound crystal clear because I know audio. But anyways, I knew that being around dangerous people, I knew it was done for. That's just the moment I saw it. I just don't know how else to say it. And I was like, I right now I have like 6 clients maybe, but I don't really even have time for it, But and I don't, I can't. I'm not the guy to call when you wrote a song today and you want to record. That's because that happens.
And then you're spending like a whole day in here, right? Letting them kind of work it out and all that kind of stuff.
People like so at some point it was the shift. When I first started, everybody came and they brought music. They brought their own lyrics.
Yeah.
Like everybody was still stealing the beats. That still happens to this day. But they had their own, they showed up with a piece of paper. They showed up with notes in their phone. About 2 years into it, and this would be around 2000, maybe 18, or 2017, 2018, these people, it got popular to do what they call, like, not really freestyle, but they punch in line by line.
Okay. And break this down for me. This is a new concept.
So, and this is how most people record now to this day. This is how I record to this day. Like, I still make music every once in a while just to dabble in it because I still feel like I can make a good song.
Yeah.
But I just know that it's not right for me to do it. You know what I'm saying? To push. I don't have what it takes to push myself as an artist because that's not truly what I want anymore.
Right. Got you.
And I have to know what I'm doing or I won't do it. But, so anyways, punching in. I had to stay on topic. Punching in is you come up. So okay, you're writing a song. Let's say I got a notepad here and we're gonna write a song like we normally would.
Yeah.
The dog walked across the street and I wrote it down. Okay, now as I'm writing that song, when I start thinking about my second line, I'm hearing the music over and over again, and I keep saying this: the dog walked across the street. And before I start trying to figure out there's something on his feet, and I'll be like, okay, no, dog walked across the street, and he was hungry for some meat. No, I don't like that neither. So I keep going. The whole time I'm just saying this, I'm having to say this line over and over again. So what people started doing is they would just go into the studio. Okay, I know what the first line is. Okay, so start the beat and I say, the dog walked across the street and I record it. And so now I don't have to keep seeing that over and over again. So people, then it got even worse where people would just say a line. There's no notepad, there's no nothing. Then they just sit in there and come up with the next line. So, I mean, it is like writing because then I was like, then, you know, you could say he got hungry for some meat. That's why he went across the street. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you would, the dog walked across the street. I'd punch that in, I'd wait. And so I'd hear that over and over in my headphones. I wouldn't have to say it. Then I can punch in my next line. So then I'd be like, they bring it in. I hear it say that. I say, he was hungry for some meat. And then we could, you know what I'm saying? Then I would hear those two lines and he would punch in the next line.
I got you.
He was looking for something to eat. You know what I'm saying? And you could just keep going. But that's how people are. But what happens in a studio full of rappers that are all intoxicated is that they get stuck. And I feel like the beat loop that happens
start
there,
driving you crazy.
I feel like that was driving me insane. Like it really was.
Yeah.
You know, they torture people by playing the same sound over and over again.
Yes.
And I really thought about this later in life.
I bet you did.
I feel like this really was affecting my brain. And especially like if the song sucked or if I didn't really like the beat and somebody booked a 3-hour session, they're punching it in, they're high as a giraffe's butt. And, and so there would be moments where you're 15, 20 minutes, they're trying to come up with a line. This happens all the time. Man. Dude, I've had people so picky that they could be in the one dude was in the studio for 45 minutes and he only had one line.
Man.
So you got to think, man, and I want to be the best engineer at that moment. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard for me to stay engaged. Like if you can't keep your engineer engaged, then you're not going to get that feedback. You're not going to get the quality. Yeah. I'm on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm watching a movie. I'm on my phone. Like,
let me know when you're ready to pick this back up.
If all you can say is dog walked across the street in 45 minutes, I'm watching Netflix.
Yeah, straight up.
And I'm just subconsciously, like you're saying, I'm hearing when to hit spacebar to give you the loop back.
Yeah, that's insane. There's no way I could.
And that's why I would go home some days and I would just ride in silence. And then people would be like, and then people would come up to me in public and be like, hey, I got this new song, man. And I just like, in my head, I would just say, please don't play me this song.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear this song.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then you can't criticize rappers like, oh yeah, are we going down the train? Are we getting on the trail? Are we going down the Joe Beef with the rappers trail? I like this. Yeah.
I'm here for it, bro.
No, they really did drive me crazy though. And there's no way that they can deny that this happened because it happened.
Yeah.
But maybe the loop, I've never really thought about that. I think maybe the beat loop maybe was literally driving me insane. Like, because if I was going to torture somebody, I would play like a shitty beat. No, sorry for I'm trying not to cuss around. I would play an awful beat and I would just make someone listen to it for like 2 or 3 hours.
Man.
And maybe throw in a couple lines of some poorly written rap music.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Bro, so whenever, this was like 2011. That was like what I was doing. Like, I had like an apartment with a couple of my friends and they were music producers. So like, man, we had like Fruity Loops. You know,
yeah.
Like,
I have that on the laptop just for fun.
I mean, these guys were great at it. Yeah. I mean, I would mess around with it, but I was not I was not on this level. These guys could throw beats together in minutes. And then they would take it from the beat to the song, to the production, to the posting it on YouTube in like a day.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was fire.
Yeah.
It was fire. Like, I mean,
but you could get tired of it being in there, right?
I mean, honestly, there were moments. I'm not going to say there wasn't moments.
Like somebody's looping a snare drum for an hour and a half.
They were punching in like you're saying. They would have already had bars written.
Okay, yeah.
And then they're bringing it. Okay, hey, all right, cool. So I got some stuff I want to play with. Let's get a beat.
Yeah, because most people, like the origination of punching in was, I have this song wrote already. And then so like, okay, I'm just going to punch in line by line. And so that
doesn't even sound like it would come through authentic. Like whenever I played it back.
Because it's an art form. Huh. Dude, I could play you something, and you'd be like, there's no way that's punched in. You would never know. It's an art form. And then it's an art form on the engineer side of blending, hiding stuff. Like I'm always hiding different things because like, you know, and that's something that you do. Like me is like, so normally when I get the song, when I sit in the control, you know, I'm the one in control of how the song's about to turn out at this point. Like the rappers already gave me the stuff. Like if I'm in a mixing environment, this is post, you know, I have the song, I have the beat. The rappers ain't coming back. They're not doing nothing else to it. The beat dude he already got paid for that beat. That is not his job no more.
Yeah.
You know, and so like you just learn you're just hiding the imperfections. Like, okay, I'm gonna go in and if I can't fix it in the mix, they say never fix it in the mix. That's like the number one rule. You never want to be fixing in the mix. You want to just be adjusting in the mix.
Yeah.
But so you don't want to be solving problems while you're mixing. But you're always solving problems. And so it's like somebody punched in, okay, well, if I just make the snare drum go twice or something, it maybe will draw somebody's brain away from the fact that they punched in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a wild instead of like, you know what I'm saying? Or like a stutter. Like, so somebody is coming in and it feels kind of weak and you're maybe filling in a gap and their first word is like, you can make them say,
right.
All this, a lot of times, a lot of that stuff isn't just like, oh, this sounds cool. A lot of times we're hiding stuff and we're fixing stuff. Like,
I just got some game.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know. And that's like
your podcast. Is it all one audio file or do you cut it down?
I record through Pro Tools, which maybe not be the best. I don't know anybody that does it like I do it, but I do it because I'm comfortable with Pro Tools and I have my audio interface already. So I run it like a session basically.
Yeah.
And then I move it to my big computer where I have a lot more money invested into what's on there, like plugin wise.
Yeah.
And then what I do is, then I mix it all down into one. So I'll edit this, but I'll edit the audio without even seeing the video.
Got you.
And then I get it up to my standards of what the audio is supposed to sound like. And then I'll export it. And then when I get into the video program, I don't like to edit audio in the video program because it's foreign to me.
Right.
Like Anthony, that's what he knew. So he was just like, I put my plugins in the video program. And I was just like,
I couldn't do that either.
So it's like, I work in what I'm comfortable in.
Mm-hmm.
By the end, it is one file. And then I just line up the file, the audio file from my finished deal on Pro Tools that come from the 2 mics or 3 mics or whatever it is. And I line it up from what my cameras, because my camera's getting some bull crap
getting audio.
It's terrible.
That's exactly how I do it too. But I didn't know if you were like, this was kind of like a dead part of the conversation. I'm gonna cut this out and then pull it back in.
I cut out parts, but it's once I make
do it like straight. Like
I make
Joe
like
Rogan
a con.
almost,
well, I mean, it is a lot of times it is like that, but there is. I do edit, a little bit. I edit more than Joe Rogan does, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do it in the video program. So once I want the audio is crystal clear, then it goes into what I would finally call post when I put the audio and the video together. Right. And I mesh them first too. I'm going to make like a compound clip. Like I use Final Cut. I'd make them a compound clip where I turn down, once I line it all up, I'll turn down the audio of the video from the camera. Yep. And then
it's just the clean.
Now you just got the clean audio, the clean video. And then I'll go through and I'll cut.
See, listen. Now you just need to run an ad on this podcast, and you're going to be having people buying your program.
That's what I kind of have an agreement with Anthony that I won't go record a bunch of podcasts because it's kind of part of what we traded.
Yeah.
I don't because that is his. He helped me do a bunch of things in order for me to get my personal podcast off, and so I don't want to turn around and fish in the same pond as him.
Yeah, I feel you.
After he kind of after he set me up for success of my own,
right.
because he didn't have to do that neither. You know, he could still be hitting me which I was getting a discount for trading with him already, but still, you know what I'm saying? You play nice.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, that pays off 100%. I agree that.
Well, dang, man. All right, so how can we wrap this up? I got to get home to my wife and...
Oh, man,
Bro, we could honestly keep going. I didn't know it was going to be like this, bro. If I'd have known this, we would have scheduled a Saturday afternoon or something where I could come in here for...
Man, I was telling you at the front, dude, it's conversational. It's
I love it.
Conversational.
I love it.
I tried to ask questions, and then, but the way my brain works is, and this is funny, the better somebody is at speaking, the worse I am at staying to the script.
Well, I mean, we just been
riffing the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
and
that's how conversation is.
Yeah, you should see, like, when I talk to somebody that maybe doesn't talk as well, the script is heavy. Because, like, if I say, what do you think molded, you? How did you get to this place where you felt like, I could do this? And you would launch into a 30-second deal, a minute deal, 2-minute deal.
Yeah,
I'd be talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how I got here.
All right, let's cut it off.
You know what I'm saying? But sometimes people would be like, I had some tragedy and I overcame it.
It's like, elaborate.
And then they look at me. And so in that moment, I'm like, okay, next topic. You have any big life moments, or I know you've got a book, we can talk about your book before we go.
Man, all right. So I wrote one like a couple of years ago, but I don't even want to talk about that. I want to talk about my new one.
Yeah.
So I got one coming up. It's called Fit for Success. So you have to understand, like, what I do full time, much like Courtney, who was on here, pretty recently, is a personal trainer. So my whole thing is I love to take like a holistic approach, right? I want you to realize that the same principles that get you fit in the gym can get you fit in life, right? So we were talking about getting in those reps early, right? That repetition, that is a life principle. That the more times you do something, the more proficient you're going to become at it, the better you're going to get. You're going to start hardwiring that mind to where it becomes automatic. And so this book, it covers a lot of that. And so I've written the whole thing. I sent it to the editors, and then I was like, nah, give it back to me. And I'm like basically going back through and doing all these crazy edits myself, putting in new stories, new concepts, new principles, all this different stuff. And so I'll give you a little taste of it that I just started working on today. Is the chapter I'm working on now is called Bulk Up on Greatness. Bulk Up on Greatness. So it's a play on getting bulky in the gym, but it's really talking about really identifying who you are as a person, and then what that process actually looks like. That way you can become the greatest version of yourself, right? Yeah. And so, some of the different concepts that I have in there are you need to get a coach. That way you can be held accountable, and the power of having a coach, why that's important, and who's some of the greatest coaches in sports history. I know you like basketball, so you're probably familiar with John Wooden, right?
Yeah.
And so,
Jackson.
Yeah. So just the power of having a good coach, another thing I talk about is maxing out, maxing out in the gym. Everybody knows what that is.
Right.
But we also need to be maxing out in what we're trying to accomplish in our lives, right? You are maxing out on podcasts, right? If you've got free time, you're here, you're editing, you're uploading videos, you're running multiple different shows, that's maxing out, right? And that's so those are just a couple of things that we're talking about.
You wouldn't want to max out in the gym every day though, huh?
No, but you would want to max out in life.
Yeah, every day? Or do you think that's how it creates burnout though? Just if you overworked your muscles?
So here's the thing with burnout and maxing out, right, is 100% looks different every day. So me going all in today is going to look different than me going all in tomorrow. Tomorrow I might have a headache, but I can still go all in with that headache, right? My productivity level may not be, at the heights it usually is. But the thing is there's other people who go, I got a headache, I ain't doing nothing today.
Yeah.
That ain't maxing out.
No, it's not maxing out.
That ain't even, that ain't even lifting.
100% looking different every day is real though. Yeah, that's real.
It is. So it's being the best that you can be in whatever situation it is, whatever the life circumstance is, whatever you're trying to do in your life, giving that your best every day. And your best looks different every single day, right? So, yeah, man. So
what's the book called?
It's called Fit for Success.
Fit for Success. You said that already. That is cool. Fit for Success. Because it's a play on being fit and success.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and also fit, fitting into the life of success that's been created for you. So Yeah.
What do they call it when it has a multiple meaning?
Double entendre.
Yeah.
Got that from my stand-up comedy days.
Yeah, double entendre. Yeah, I like that.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's
you get a lot of that with speaking and stuff as well.
Yeah.
You know, it captures the audience, you know.
But that's the last thing. Because I did have that on my list. The public speaking, that's a big thing. You're moving around, huh?
Doing my best.
Yeah.
So the thing, dude, it's everything we've been talking about, like on this entire thing, is much like you building up the podcast. You know, you get a few like, you know, big hits on TikTok or whatever it is, and you're like, man, this episode goes hard, man. I'm so proud of this episode. Like, I know you have these moments. Well, that's like where I'm at in my speaking journey as well. Like, I've been doing it for a couple of years, but it's still very much all business is momentum related.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You really have to, at first, it's like, you got to put in a lot of work, a lot of effort. But as it starts to like, the wheels get turning, it starts to pick up on its own. And then it almost like, it'll just go. You don't even have to do anything, you know?
Especially if you build the right systems.
Yes. And so that's basically where I'm at, is like, I'm still writing systems, right? I'm trying to master my speeches. I'm trying to build relationships with people who hire speakers and bring them in and stuff like that. And so it's still very much like, you know, 2-3 years in the early phases, but it's one of those things where I know you've seen the chart where it's like,
yeah.
And that's what you're going to see too. You just have to like keep going. You get after like the Dunning-Kruger, it's like, you know, so, keep plugging away at what you're doing. I'm going to keep plugging away too.
You keep going.
And hopefully we see some good stuff coming.
Yeah. Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming on the show. I definitely enjoyed it. It was a good talk.
Joe, likewise, brother. Please have me back on.
Oh yeah, I would love to. I would plan that. I've got a couple of people that I know for sure I want to have back on, like kind of maybe not regular, but like maybe every 3 months or so.
Yeah.
Where I just kind of keep back. And I thought about doing not really an all-star one, but like getting like 4 people together that I've talked with. And the conversation was like really flowing easy. And it was, you know, and even people with different views, and getting like a 4-person podcast and do like maybe even once a month or something where I kind of just, you know what I'm saying?
That's where you bring your creators onto your arguing one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That would be,
we'll talk about flat earth.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. There's man, me and Luke could argue about anything, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, last night's argument was, and it was one of the moments where I felt like, man, I don't know, after the episode, I just was like, dang, you know, you would think every episode would get better, but that's just not how things work. You know? Because we had like the one before was like really good. And like coming to this, we missed a week 2 momentum, like you're saying. Anyways, he was like, yeah, Kayla Clark, she could go play in the NBA. And I was like, all right, bro, come on, bro. Because he went on this whole spiel about when Sabrina went against Curry in the shooting contest. And he went on his man deal. Well, women can't do what men can do. The women's basketball, men's basketball, to an extent, that is 100% true. Like, you know, physiology, you know,
yes.
There is a difference. There's a clear difference.
Yes, there is.
LeBron and Brittany Griner,
not the same.
Not the same. Top of their, you know, people that are at the top of here and the top of here, but it's not the same. But anyways, he woke up yesterday. And I don't know if he really believes this or if he knew it would stir me up to just go completely opposite of how he's been on every other episode and say, Kayla Clark could run around and shoot threes in the NBA. Like, get out of here, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Get out of here. But anyways, that's not what we're talking about. Yeah, he likes to get me going. But yeah, if you've tapped in this long, man, we definitely appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, and all that cool. That's the only where I'll show you share it. But anyways, all that cool stuff.
Bro, you can cuss around me, bro.
I be trying to be proper, man. I be trying to be proper, bro. I be trying to be.
Am I like, do I give off a proper vibe? Like, I came in with the wrong vibe.
No. I know. It's a respect thing. I respect what you're doing, man.
I respect what you're doing.
It's a positive. It's a positive thing.
This is your environment. I'm here to see what you're about. So,
man, if I come on your deal, I would love to come on your deal. I would just be like, in my head, I'd be like, don't say that.
Nah, bro.
But I
want the real you. Oh. You know what I mean?
The real me definitely comes with some F words. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole. We'll talk about it later. Unless you want to talk about it before we
No, let's wrap it up.
We're good. All right. Chase Livingston, everybody. Appreciate you coming through, man.
Peace. Thanks, brother.